Okay, we are now live streaming and we have returned to open session. In reference to the in-camera session, Templeman LLP regarding the wastewater plant update court file settlement in principle. The CAO clerk presented an email from Suzanne Hunt, Templeman LLP, with the details of the settlement in principle. Council gave direction to the CAO clerk to advise Ms. Hunt to proceed to negotiate the settlement in principle as presented. Number 2, Wishart Law Court File Proceedings, Court File CV-19-00082269-0000. Form, Council received a verbal update on the status of the file and that the CAO clerk has been served the notice of examination schedule for November 4th, 2020. Number 3, Municipal Insurance Policy Renewal. Council accepted the renewal of the municipal policy from Frank Callan with direction for staff to bring back clarification of deductibles and schedule of coverage to remove unrelevant limits of coverage that may not apply. And number 4, Human Resources at the PJYCC with Mr. Bruce Beakley. Mr. Bruce Beakley provided council with clarification on Human Resources Policy D-03, and council gave the CAO clerk direction. Okay, so having completed our in-camera session, we're going to go back in our meeting to bylaws. Okay, and under bylaws, bylaw 2020-86 is a, let's see, have I got that one? Yes. Regarding a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment being part of lot 183, range B North, geographic township of Sherwood, Barry's Bay, from residential 1 R1 to commercial C, Bernadette and Gary O'Grady, OGR-2020-08. The recommendation is that bylaw 2020-86, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2006-26 of the Township of Madawaska Valley as amended, be given first and second reading this 6th day of October 2020. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Schulis, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any discussion on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2020-86 be given third and final reading the 6th day of October 2020. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any final discussion on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Our next item, we have a recommendation that is required prior to the reading of the bylaw. And the recommendation, now Sue, did you want to read this recommendation? Or do you want me to do it?
If you have it, you can do it. I thought we'd already gone through the recommendation and approved it.
No, I was informed I had to do this recommendation prior to the bylaw. So the recommendation is that pursuant to section 16 of bylaw 2013-38, the municipality has not received consent from Francois Trudel and Kelly Trudel, and that council hereby is prepared to proceed with the application / closure. And that the survey identified as part 2 on reference plan 49R-19552 is hereby deemed as the boundary limit. Can I get a mover for the recommendation?
Madam Mayor, if I may, we did have a mover and a seconder on that exact recommendation under item 9.1.3 at the time that we read Mr. Silas's report. Yes.
Okay, because he told me I had to do it just prior to the bylaw.
Yeah, so we did read it. I have moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulis, and it's the exact same recommendation. Yes.
Okay. All right. So as long as the box is ticked, I have lots of notes about doing this first. So as long as the box is ticked, then knowing that we have approved the boundary for this shoreline road allowance closure prior to, but that recommendation was at the standing committee, was it not?
Yes.
It has not received council approval. This would be council approval for that recommendation. And that may be why Mr. Larbetsky asked me to specifically do this again.
Oh, possibly. Okay.
Okay. So just following through on the process, I think just to be safe, because Silas asked that I do this. I'm not going against him. He knows what he was asking for. So I did read the recommendation, and this is now for council's approval of that recommendation. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Is there any discussion of that recommendation? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. I just want to tick that box just in case. Okay, now we'll move on to the bylaw. Bylaw 2020-87 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Green Lake, aka Labrador Lake, in front of Lot 3 Concession 8 and Lot 3 Concession 9, designated as parts 1 and 2 on reference plan 49R-19552, Geographic Township of Radcliffe, County of Renfrew, COM-2020-03. The recommendation is that being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of parts of an original allowance for road along the shore of Green Lake, aka Labrador Lake, in front of Lot 3 Concession 8 and Lot 3 Concession 9, Geographic Township of Radcliffe, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowner be given first and second reading this 6th day of October 2020. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2020-88 regarding amendment to bylaw number 2020-65, solemnization of marriages. The recommendation is that bylaw 2020-88, being a bylaw to amend 2020-65, be given first and second reading the 6th day of October 2020. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2020-88 be given third and final reading the 6th day of October 2020. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Any final discussion on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, we are down to our confirming bylaw, bylaw 2020-89 regarding the confirming bylaw for the council meeting of October 6, 2020. The recommendation is that bylaw 2020-89 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley at a council and committee meeting held on October 6, 2020 be given first and second reading. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. All those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2020-89 be given third and final reading the 6th day of October 2020. Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Schulist. All those in favor? And that's carried. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by, oh, come on, folks, Councillor Poplinski. All those in favor? And that is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That was